Before we begin to work with split toning, let's deconstruct a little bit about how this panel works. And in order to do so, we'll be working with this demo file. It's titled grayscale.psd. I'm going to go ahead and open this up in the Develop module by pressing the D key. Next, I want to open up my split toning panel. So I'm going to press on a Mac Command 4. On a PC, that's Control 4, or you can simply click on the name split toning. One of the things you'll notice here is that this is divided up into highlights and shadows. We have a couple of different options. We can open and close this so we have more or less options. What we can do is define a hue. So go ahead and select a color and then increase the saturation. What you'll notice is that this color is primarily affecting the highlights, although of course it's always going to affect the shadows a little bit as well. One of the things that's kind of tricky in regards to this is selecting the right color. One way to get a good color is to click on the color picker here and then select a new color from this menu. As I select this, you'll notice I have a saturation amount. This is a high saturation, or I can choose a lower saturation amount. Once I've selected the color, all I need to do is to click Close. Now in this case, I have a muted green. And let's say that what I want to do is choose a blue. Well, as I hover over the blues, it's hard to determine which blue is best because I can't really see it very well. Well, here's a great shortcut that you can use in order to see the color a little bit more clearly. On a Mac, you hold down the Option key. On a PC, you hold down the Alt key. And then what you do is you click and drag your hue. And here you can see that when you hold the shortcut key, it's going to show you the color at 100% saturation. Then, when you let go of that shortcut key, it's going to take it down to whatever saturation it is currently. Let me illustrate this a little bit more. Here's just a small 18% saturation. Hold down the Option key and click on this icon, and again, you can see a real high amount. Let go of that, it goes back to that 18 amount. All right, well, let's increase this a little bit and take a look at shadows. Well, with shadows, what we can do is choose a saturation, and then we can go through and find a color that looks interesting here. And again, this is primarily targeting my shadows, and it's pushing from my shadows over to the right. Now, if I have more saturation, we can see that this is strong, and then there's a transition point up here in the highlights. Increase the saturation on this side, and we're starting to see how these two tones work. The highlights targets the brighter tones on this grayscale, and the shadows targets the darker tones on the grayscale. All right, one more thing to show here is if we click on the color swatch here, what we can do is we can define presets. So let's say we like these two colors. What I can then do is hold down the Option key on a Mac, Alt key on a PC, and then click in one of these swatches in order to save that as a sample color. And I can do this with different colors as well. Again, Option clicking in order to set those up as the swatches that I can then select from. And the nice thing about this is that I can then go into my shadows or highlights, and I can simply click on one of these in order to use that color and have that as part of my split tone mix. All right, well, now that we know a little bit about how the split tone panel works, let's apply this knowledge. Let's do that in the next movie.